Now I'm going to share with you a very helpful advice from Daniel Goleman, the author of Emotional Intelligence. He has written many books on various aspects of emotional intelligence. He says that when we are experiencing stress, we're going to learn to relax and handle the stress, and there are 3 windows of opportunities. So let's listen to what he means by 3 windows of opportunity.
Stress isn't really so much in the things that happen in your life. It's really in how we react to them. And we can do something about those reactions. There are 3 windows of opportunity when it comes to handling the stress in our lives. The first is to do something to change things for the better. You know, whatever's the cause of the stress, if you can change it, do it. The second is in how you see it, changing the way you perceive what's happening. I once heard a wonderful line from a television preacher. It goes like this: something good is going to happen to you today. I love that line. That is so great. You don't know what it is. It's a wonderful thought because it allows the possibility that what may seem so bad at first has an upside, that there's a silver lining to that cloud, right? Now, if we can't change the things that are happening to us and we can't change how we see it, then we're left with a third opportunity, and that's handling the way our body and our mind react to these things. See, when the body is stressed, the emotional centers flood the body with stress hormones. And this makes it do things like shunt blood from the arms and the legs into the organs. It's a fight or flight response. It pumps up our blood pressure, speeds up our heartbeat. It steals energy, actually, from the immune system, it turns out, to get us ready for an emergency. It's what's called the fight or flight response. You've heard about that. Now, if that response gets triggered day after day, week after week, and month after month, over years, what happens is the biological system in our body that's most susceptible genetically, that's most reactive, is going to start to develop a stress-caused disease. You know, if you're a cardiovascular reactor, you're going to get high blood pressure. If you react in your gut, you're going to get problems there, and so on throughout the body. That's how stress over years and years leads to disease. It speeds up the process of coming down with the disease. So constant stress, it's like getting your amygdala stuck in high gear. Continual hijacks. We need to calm down. That's where relaxation comes in.
And that's where relaxation comes in. Again, he advocates when you are getting stressed and emotionally excited, you got to calm down first, relax, pause, relax, and then think. And thinking, he offers the 3 windows of opportunity. He says, by remaining calm and relaxed, we have 3 windows of opportunity to overcome this stressful situation. First, do something to change our circumstances. That means whatever is causing you that stress, you can do something either to remove it or change it. Or, failing that, the next thing you can do is do something to change the way you perceive your circumstances. Change the way you interpret your circumstances. And the third one is to change the way you respond to your circumstances. Right? Now, I'll give you a very simple example. Do something to change your circumstances is actually to change the situation so that whatever is stressing you, whatever is hurting you or causing you distress is no longer doing that. Take simple example, I think many people face that, and I faced that during my professional career. You work for a company and your boss is not a nice person, let's say. You know, when you do something nice or good, something which helps him, he never says thank you. And if you do something he doesn't like, or you do something against his wishes or his instructions, then he gets angry and he shouts at you. Right? We experience this kind of bosses sometimes, right? We have them. So what can you do when you are having this kind of a boss? What can you do to change your circumstances? What are some of the things you can do? Change your job, huh? But what if that company is a wonderful company? They pay you very well. and your colleagues are wonderful friends. The big boss is a very compassionate person. It's only your immediate boss who is really very nasty. Would you like to change job just because of him? You know, you found such a good job. So now you may not be able or may not be willing to change your circumstances. What's the next thing to do? Change the way you interpret your circumstances to reduce your suffering. So what can you do here? You can't stop him shouting at you, right? Every time you do something he doesn't like or against his wishes or whatever it is that upsets him, he starts to behave in very unwholesome way at you. So how do you change the way you perceive your circumstances? How do you change the way you perceive the way he's shouting at you? Just imagine he is a gorilla that escaped from the zoo. Each time he shouts at you, you just imagine in your mind, this gorilla from the zoo is shouting again. Now, if you think like that, are you going to get hurt by his shouting? No. You know, in fact, you might even smile or laugh. Every time he shouts at you, you laugh back at him because your mind is thinking, this gorilla, there he goes again, you know. So this is one way, you know, you can do that. And if you keep smiling each time he shouts at you, sooner or later he's going to give up. He says, every time I shout at him, this guy keeps smiling. Sooner or later he's going to stop shouting at you. So this is a second way. Now what if that's not easy to do, huh? Then you are left with the third choice. Change the way you respond to your circumstances. And we have an old saying, you know, in Chinese, that you may say terrible things to me, but it's not going to hurt me very much. But if you are very kind to me, I don't know how to respond to you, really. So this is what I'm trying to say. Practice kindness towards your boss. Every time he shouts at you, you just take it, take it without letting it hurt you and just behave in a kind way towards him. Now, if you're kind to him, every time he is angry or upset and you are kind with him, you respond to anger with kindness. Sooner or later, he's going to give up. Every time he gets angry with you, he starts to say, this guy, why is he so nice? Why is he so kind? Sooner or later, he internally will have great difficulty trying to shout and scream at someone who is very kind to him. So these are some of the things you can do. Right? Change your circumstances. If you can't do something to change your circumstances, change the way you perceive your circumstances. And if you can't change the way you perceive your circumstances, then change the way you respond to your circumstances. So these are the three windows of opportunity that Daniel Goleman has explained there. So far, I think I've covered enough on what we can do, how we can help ourselves, the self-help methodology.